The Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the 2022 Cheez-It Bowl matchup between the Oklahoma Sooners and the Florida State Seminoles. Definitely a bowl matchup that's got some huge storylines on both sides. Oklahoma being a team that's definitely had a disappointing season. They finished out the regular season at 6-6, but this is an important game for them here because, if you can get a win here, head into the offseason on a high note, that can go a long ways as we look forward to 2023. But beating Florida State is not going to be an easy task. The Seminoles have been outstanding down the stretch. They've won their past 5 games. They are 9-3 heading into this matchup. They're ranked in the top 15 for a reason. This is a team that is playing really well right now, and it should make for a great matchup. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting with their team trends. Oklahoma lost to Texas Tech 48-51, a shootout that went into overtime. Texas Tech got the win in the end. It was a thrilling matchup, but for Oklahoma, it definitely was a disappointing result in the end. But for Oklahoma, they're 6-6 heading into this matchup, and obviously it's been a disappointing season for the Sooners, and this has just been a rebuilding year for Oklahoma. It's been a younger team this season, brand new head coach, Brent Venables. So, it makes sense. This team has had a bit of a down season, but, down the stretch, a couple of their losses, they just lost to West Virginia a few weeks ago. It's been brutal down the stretch for the Sooners, but considering a few of the close losses that this team has taken, especially down the stretch, this is a team that's better than the record shows, if you ask me. But for Florida State, they beat Florida 45-38, huge win for them, and the Seminoles are playing well right now. They're 9-3, ranked 13th in the country, 5-game winning streak heading in. So this is a Florida State team that is trending upward right now. They're looking really good, and this is a team in Florida State that could potentially be a national contender next season. You consider who they could have returning. Jordan and Travis, this team, they are looking really good right now, and based on how they're finishing the season, keep an eye on Florida State as we head into the future. You guys be on Thursday, December 29th in Orlando, Florida. Your kickoff is 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going with Florida State by 9.5, so the Seminoles are favored by nearly 10 points in this matchup. Over-under is 66, and the FBI is also going with Florida State. You're 65%. Series history, Oklahoma leads at 6-1. The last game was in 2011, so it's been a few years since we last saw these two teams play each other, but it has happened in the past 7 times. Stat comparison for this one, Oklahoma's 25th in points per game, 88th in points allowed. So, this is a strong team offensively. That's kind of been known all season. They're averaging 33 points a game, which is pretty good overall. It's just the defensive side of the ball has been an issue for the Sooners this season. And you could say offensively this team has been a bit inconsistent at times as well, but defensively, that's been the main issue for Oklahoma. You're going up against Texas Tech. It's going to be tough to allow 51 points to Texas Tech or any team in general and beat them. It doesn't happen very often that you allow that many points and beat a team. So defensively, this team definitely could be better this season, but offensively, this team definitely has got some tremendous talent. They're 44th in pass yards a game, 11th in rush yards a game. This is a strong team in the backfield, especially with Eric Gray, who's rushed for nearly 1,400 yards this season. And then for yards allowed, they're 103rd in both passing and rushing defense. So there you go. The defensive side of the ball has been an issue for the majority of the season. They're allowing an average of 30 points a game. As for Florida State, this team is really a great team statistically. 19th in points per game, 17th in points allowed. They're 37th in pass yards a game, 21st in rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 3rd in passing, the 2nd best pass defense in the country. The 3rd best, and then they're 65th in rush defense. Yes, that is what you could say to be the main weak spot for this team is the rushing defense. And you're going up against an Oklahoma team that has been really strong running the ball this season. So that is something to keep in mind. But for Florida State defensively, this is a better team. They're averaging 36 points a game. They're allowing an average of 20. That is a lot better than Oklahoma, who's allowing an average of 30. Recent matchups, Oklahoma lost to Texas Tech in overtime. They beat Oklahoma State 20-13. The Cowboys were ranked 22nd in the country at the time. That was a great win. But, man, Oklahoma State just fell apart down the stretch. Oklahoma also lost to West Virginia. That's a game that you just have to win there. West Virginia, one of the worst teams in the Big 12 this season. That's a game that you have to win there. But they took the loss by 3, close loss. Also took a close loss against Baylor, 35-38. So, 3 losses within 3 points down the stretch. All 3 of those games could have been wins. If they were, Oklahoma's suddenly a 9-3 team and probably ranked in the top 20, maybe even the top 15. Considering Florida State has won 5 straight and they're ranked number 13, But in the end, that's not how it worked out, and this team took a couple of brutal close losses. But as for Florida State, this team, it's been the opposite for them. They have been dominant down the stretch. They beat Florida 45-38, beat Louisiana 49-17, took care of Syracuse no problem, 38-3. They beat Miami on the road 45-3, and they also beat Georgia Tech 41-16. This is a good Florida State team. This team has really come around down the stretch. You look back in the earlier parts of the season, we knew that after that LSU win, this team could be a pretty good team this season. That was an impressive win over LSU. And they started the season 4-0. They took 3 straight losses, 3 straight close losses. And then after that, this team has won 5 straight. So you had that little slump in the middle of the season. But otherwise, this team has been really good down the stretch. And they're playing their best football right now. When you beat Miami 45-3 and then went on the road to Syracuse and beat them 38-3 the next week, those 2 games right there, both on the road, extremely impressive what Florida State was able to do there. Key points for this one, Oklahoma 6-6. This is a strong team offensively, but not on the defense. And this defense is going to need to play ball in this game if they want any chance of winning it. This Florida State team is averaging right around 40 points. Probably above that, honestly. I think they're averaging probably 43, 44 points in their past 5 games. This is a team that is playing really well on offense. They're one of the best teams in the country right now, Florida State. If you put them in a New Year's Six bowl game right now, I honestly think the Seminoles could compete with almost anybody. Just based on how they're playing right now, I know they're 9-3, but the way they're playing right now, Florida State can compete with anyone in the country. I don't care who, just based on, once again, how they've played down the stretch. I know it's somewhat close against Florida. Florida's not a very good team, but that is a rivalry game. You look at their other 4 games in their last 5, just dominant wins across the board here. But for OU, Eric Gray, a true threat all season. He's going to be the key to success here for Oklahoma. If the Sooners are going to have any success in this game, it's got to be with Eric Gray, and it's got to be with this backfield because Florida State, this team, their main weakness is the rush defense. So you're going to need to take advantage of that if you want any chance of winning here. Defense will be crucial for success here. I kind of mentioned that. With Florida State, the way they're playing offensively, this defense is going to need to really step up, force some turnovers. That's going to be huge. If you can get some points off of turnovers, that's exactly what you need in this matchup, like a pick 6 or something like that. That would really, I think, go a long way for Oklahoma in this game. But as for the Seminoles, this team was dominant down the stretch. The offense, quietly one of the best in the country. You look at Jordan Travis, how he's played this season with over 2,700 yards, nearly 2,800 passing, 22 touchdowns, over 4 picks, extremely impressive. He doesn't turn over the ball very much, which is crucial. And you also got Trey Benson, who's rushed for nearly 1,000 yards. This is a talented team on offense, and that's the thing, though. Florida State's got tremendous talent on offense, but so does OU. You look at their top players that OU has with Eric Gray and Marvin Mims and even Dylan Gabriel, obviously. This is a talented team on offense for Oklahoma. It's just been the defense that has come back to bite at multiple points this season. And once again, you keep in mind for Florida State, all 3 losses were within 10 points for the Seminoles. This team has been competitive all season, and even in their losses, all of the games were really close. So this is a really good team, and for Oklahoma, it's going to be an uphill battle, but this is a great opportunity for the Sooners. That said, let's get the prediction here for Oklahoma and Florida State coming up here in the Cheez-It Bowl. This one should be a fun one, but in the end, going to go with the favorite. Florida State wins this one 34-30. I am taking OU to cover the spread, make this a competitive game. OU down the stretch has been competitive in every single game, even though they've taken 3 losses down the stretch. All 3 of them were close. I think Oklahoma puts up a fight. I don't expect them to get blown out. I think Florida State wins this game, and honestly, I'm pretty confident in that. I am saying 55% towards Florida State, but that could lean towards 60. I think Florida State is simply the better team right now. They're hot right now. They're playing as good as anybody in the country. I really do believe. You look at their last 5 games or so, you'll see why. Even their losses weren't terribly bad. So Florida State, they win this one 34-30. I am taking the under, and Oklahoma to cover the spread in the end. But honestly, the over-under is brutal to predict here. It could easily go over. So just be aware of that. But I am pretty confident Florida State wins this game. Let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.